to for okay, you got it.
Yeah.
Just waiting. Do you know if Sybil ever got on?
I don't think she did. I'll just give her. It'll be complicated for her today anyway, so I'll have like 4 or 5 videos to send her. I think
A little more than that. Okay, Lance, you ready? Lance?
I'm here.
Okay. Okay. I don't know if you got cut off. I was giving Jeff the opportunity to own McDonald's.
Yeah,
Jeff?
yeah, I was listening to that part.
Okay. Let's say Jeff owns McDonald's, right? And as we all know, that McDonald's has the exclusive right to promote this thing called the Big Mac. Jeff has the right as the owner of McDonald's to promote the Big Mac. Now here, Lance, here you come in here, and guess what you say? And you own Burger King. And all of a sudden, one day you were bold enough to do some crazy stuff and say, try the new Burger King Big Mac. It's wholesome and delicious. Way bigger and better than other Big Mac. Jeff, what are you going to do?
I'm gonna throw a brick through his window.
Say that again.
Throw a brick through his window first.
Now that's not that bright.
Probably give him a cease and desist notice.
No, he already did it. The damage is already there.
Okay.
Because guess what he violated?
Not a charter, but a copyright.
We're going to shorten it to your rights.
Okay.
Because you have the exclusive rights to the Big Mac. You already got the charter. You already patented it. So now here, Lance, he sits up here and he violates your rights. Wow. So guess what you do? You go get your attorneys to sue the hell out of Lance for violating your rights. They come to you and say, look, boss, dear attorneys. They say, look at this fool actually talked about the Burger King Big Mac. We could get him at least for $50 million. Because guess what? Burger King should have knew not to violate your rights. Does that make sense?
Perfect sense.
Well, the people have a right to bear arms, right? Okay, let's look at this. Let's say that Let's say that Lance came to you and he said, "Hey, Jeff, let's do a little competition real fast. Let's see how much money we could drum up let's see how much money we could drum up. How about you for 2 weeks straight? You allow me to say that I have the Burger King Big Mac. I have the Burger King Big Mac, and you could talk about the McDonald's Whopper." For 2 weeks straight, we could do a couple promotional ads and say who could make the best McDonald's Whopper and the Burger King Big Mac for 2 weeks straight. Let's see, and give promotions so we could get a bunch of sales out of this. And to you, Jeff, guess what you say? Hey, that sounds like a good idea, right?
Okay.
The whole purpose, the reason why what you're actually doing in this particular situation is you're about to authorize him to create the Burger King Big Mac. You're going to give him your exemption or your immunity from, you're allowing him to infringe on your rights in exchange to profit from it. While on the same turn, Jeff is also able to do it with you. And you guys are both you both have the benefit from this transaction going about. Both of you guys acknowledging each other's rights.
Okay.
But in this particular situation, guess what? Because it's most beneficial to you, Jeff, you're going to exempt him from his liability in this case. When otherwise, he normally has no right to use your stuff. He has no rights to infringe upon your rights. But it's beneficial to you this time. It's not hurting you this time because you're actually benefiting from this agreement that you guys have both made. Cross agreements that you guys have.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes perfect sense.
The attorney, what he's saying, no, we're gonna get these fuckers for everything. But in this particular situation, no, this is a promotional stunt. This is a promotional stunt. It's in your best interest that they do this. Now you guys get these astronomical sales off the roof because you sell these discounted burgers and stuff, but people come out in droves to get them. So there's no harm done. And this actually applies when for every right that they say that citizen of the United States violated. Those rights, like let's say you had a drug charge. Well, you don't have a right to sell drugs. Well, guess who has that right?
People. Say
Say that again.
Man. That's
a right that belongs to the people.
Yeah.
Because the Constitution doesn't say that. No one can. The Constitution nowhere in there says that the people can't sell drugs. So it's a right inherently belonging to the people. So that citizen of the United States who doesn't have that right, he's violating the people's right. And then that attorney says, look, boss, this fool here was violating your rights. What do you want me to do? So guess what the human being mistakenly does? Say, lock him up.
Mm-hmm.
Then the judge says, do you understand that you're giving up your rights? Because you have a right to exempt his liability. Because it's your rights that's being imposed upon. I hope you guys understand that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep. Makes sense.
You have to, hold on, just a second. Let's see something. Just a second.
Yeah.
Gotta get, where's YouTube at? This is what a judge says. Just a second. This is what a judge says about the average person locked up. Can you guys hear this?
No, I'm not hearing anything right now.
Yeah, I can't hear anything or see.
Okay. Here, watch this. I'm gonna play this on my phone.
Okay.
I'm gonna play it on the phone so that you can hear what he's actually saying. Judge Joe Brown on Vlad TV. Just a second.
Do you know that the average adult has 5 to 20 pounds of toxic poop in their body at any given moment? Seems crazy.
And that's what a jail is. It's a slave warehouse.
Okay, explain that.
It's a warehouse for slaves.
This is a judge.
Exactly what it is. Most of the
I'm back. This is what he said.
You made a comment that this last jail stint that you did,
He did time in jail.
compared it to a slave warehouse.
yeah, that's what a jail is. It's a slave warehouse.
Okay, explain that.
It's a warehouse for slaves. It's exactly what it is. Most of the people that are inmates down there brought it on themselves. 97.5% of the people in American penitentiaries pled guilty and 85% confessed. Less than 3% of those who were in the jails got found guilty at trial. So most of what's down there is just cannibalistic behavior by people who have inefficient training, lack of training, no education, no goals, no upbringing, no home training. And it's a function of the system now to get rid of surplus labor. Labor is a commodity like wheat, corn, cotton, rye, beef, pork, poultry. And when you get a glut, the prices drop. They don't want a Timothy McVeigh to come up again and blow up another Oklahoma City courthouse. So they do three things to control the commodity glut. One, you cut back production. Two, subsidize the would-be producer. And three, restore the surplus. In this case, the surplus is in a jail cell instead of a grain silo. The subsidy is a welfare check. And when the kids bang out, drug out, drop out, develop inappropriate attitudes, outlooks, get pregnant too early, too often, and have no education or training and have nothing that makes them viable for the job market, they soon turn to criminal activity. They get a felony conviction. They can no longer vote and they're permanently unemployable. So you've taken them out of the job market. So Archie Bunker is not going to get too badly upset because he still has some kind of job, no not the one that he grew up expecting. So it's a vicious cycle. And we don't have anything in place in this country to address that. We don't even have any legislation in place in the recent decade to put people back to work after what is in actuality almost a depression. So it's getting pretty bad. When the country has a lot of stress as it does now, guess who's the first to be scapegoated, even if only vicariously? Right, the poor people. The poor people, particularly readily identifiable poor people. That's driving that engine that has produced Black Lives Matter. You see, there's stress out there, and some of the things we do puts us in a position where we become easy targets for this kind of thing. So when we start.
Wow.
Hey, what's the date on that video?
Just a second. I'm trying to. It's 5 years ago.
What's it called? Joe Brown does what?
It's Joe Brown. Wait a second. Put it like this. I'll try to send it to you guys
Yeah,
to your email. Just a second. I want you to understand. See, there's a science. This isn't a racial. I'm gonna be honest. It's not a racial thing. It's not a racial thing. It's you create a certain situation where certain people subsequently are not in the same position as others, but it's not technically a racial thing, because I know people in prison that are extremely white, you get what I'm saying, but they're undereducated. So what they do is they create this prison warehouse. Our system, they don't hide it. It's just the people that are undereducated, they don't pay no attention to it. Wait a second. Just a second. Jeff, did you get it?
Yeah, I got it. Thank you.
If you can't share it with Sybil.
Yeah, I sure will.
Okay, hold on a second. If you're, and one of the reasons why I personally enjoy teaching, because understand that I'm trying to show you, and what he's saying is, look, hey, we're going to take advantage of, the system is going to take advantage of ignorant people. Subsequently, guess what? That's like 99% of everyone. Because let's say, for an example, here, I'm going to say that, let's say that you guys are middle class, I'm going to say middle class white people. I would say that I'll put you in that category, Jeff, right? And I'll say you're a middle class white person. You're not out here engaging in crime. You're never engaging in crime. So you stay in your lane and you don't ever do anything. So why do you have to study the law? Do you understand how that works? You never have to study the law. So since you never study the law and since you're staying in your lane and you don't ever do anything, guess what they do? They have a system designed to take advantage of people that cannot actually conform to staying in their lane within the conforms of the law. So guess what they do? They readily attack these people. The only time that you may make it an issue to actually deal with this situation is when you're in trouble with the system. And the fact is that you've never studied it. So then you go get an attorney who, guess what his business is? Trapping and trading. So now you have a little more money. It was like, man, I'm gonna sure get this Jeff guy for his money because this fool doesn't even understand the law. Do you get what I'm saying? Since Jeff doesn't understand the law, yeah, Jeff, just give me quick $50,000 to represent you. He pats you on your shoulder. So guess what? You're in the same position of the people that's been going through the system and been victimized by the system, because you're just as ignorant because you've never dealt with this type of business. You always thought the slave trade was gone. You thought it was over. No, it's still the same slave trade. And this judge, they put him in jail, but guess what he subsequently knew? He understands how the slave trade is done, and he's not denying it. He's not saying that, but this is not the slave trade. He's saying this is a slave trade. This is a warehouse. Subsequently, he knew how to get himself out of that situation, even though technically he was victimized by the system. Because when you're one of the people and you know your rights and you know how to circumvent the pitfalls and traps of the system, then even though they may try to get you, they can't get you, because if you understand your rights and how the game that they're playing, they're going to lay and collect taxes on all persons that are subject to the jurisdiction of the United States and the state. And everybody that functions in America, they have a citizen of the United States, because you're presumed to be a citizen of the United States if you have a social security number from the United States. And I'm not saying that, and I'm not saying that having that citizenship is wrong, but you have to understand that you have a functional right that will grant that person protection. And then you go tell whoever the taxing authority is, go on now, go give this to your supervisor, which subsequently is the Treasury, who understands that you could apply your exemption to offset the liability assessed on those accounts that they're using. Does that make sense?
Yes.
100%.
Love it.
So now we're going to look at this thing, because they're going to tell you what a foreign government means. It says, a foreign government means the government of a foreign country. A foreign country is a foreign state, irrespective of recognition by the United States, because we, the American people, allow the United States to come in and do their job. And their initial job is to protect the American people against foreign invasion. This is why the states have their own government. The United States' job is to protect the American states and the American people from foreign invasion. Okay, so now this is why each state can come up with its own laws. So now so you see what a foreign government is. That's the country, the actual territorial land, and the political the political state in that territorial land in that state. So then we'll look at what is a foreign official. Now ask yourself the question: this chief of state is not a term, but it's an example of how this works. Okay, you remember we went through this thing called the Declaration of Human Rights, right? We'll go back here to the Declaration of Human Rights. We're going to start seeing how this stuff is implemented. What does it say? All human beings are born what? Free and equal in dignity and rights. I'm pointing this out. All human beings are born free and equal in dignity and rights. Equal means we all have the same political equivalence.
Oh, hey, we're not seeing your screen.
Okay, hold on a second. How long have you not seen it?
Couple minutes.
Okay, hold on a second. How long have you not seen it?
Oh, ever since we came back, it's just been just the picture that you've had
Oh.
up there.
Okay. Okay, we're gonna go back here. Now do you see it?
Yep, sure do.
Okay. Now we'll go back to foreign government. It says means the government of a foreign country, irrespective of recognition by the United States. In time, perhaps I'll show you the United States could be defined in a geographical sense, and then it could also be used in a territorial sense. The territorial sense means the territorial jurisdiction of the United States. Subsequently, is Washington, D.C., Guam, Puerto Rico, the North Mariana Islands, the Virgin Islands, and American Samoa, which is property that belongs to the United States government. That's in a territorial sense. But in a geographical sense, we allow the United States to come in and to protect the American people. So, and that's why they say in that particular clause here, irrespective of recognition by the United States. That's why they put that clause there. Now, and it says what a foreign official means. It says a chief of state. Chief. What is the chief?
The chief is a ruler.
Someone who is put above the rest. The leader. That's what the chief is. Who is above the state? We the people. We're the ones who put the state in effect. Someone who is put above the rest. He's the leader, the principal, the most important part or position. We the people were way above the state. We're the ones who instituted the whole state and the United States, and we're above all the citizens of the United States. So guess who the chief of state is? We the people. Because, so it says the chief of state. Well, you remember that, okay, me and Jeff we're both in Ohio. Since we're both in Ohio, and Ohio is the state, who has more power, Jeff or me? Jeff?
You were born there and I wasn't.
No, that you remember what the Universal Declaration of Human Rights says.
We're just human. Yeah, we both do.
So guess what? If the chief of state, if we're above the state, if I'm above the state in my state, and then guess what you are?
Equal.
And therefore it says the political equivalent. Oh, excuse me. Now I can't speak. Political equivalent. Do you see how that works? Now, when we realize that a president, he is the leader of a organization. He's the leader of a corporation. So now we look at a foreign official. So this is the state a corporation? Yes. So now whoever's above the corporation, he's above the state, the political equivalent. And so then we go and we elect a governor who to be the chief executive officer of that state. What a president is the chief executive officer of that state, or a vice president or prime minister. A prime minister is a representative of that state, or ambassador or foreign minister, because all of these in these capacities, these person represents of the state and the people in that state. Then it says, because these are foreign officials in subsection A, or other officers of a cabinet rank above the foreign government. What is the foreign government? The state of Ohio. But who's above the foreign government? The people in that state. So therefore, we people in a private capacity who's above the state of Ohio, or above the state of Washington, or the chief executive officer of an international organization. Whoever has an international organization, a government and an international organization, they both have the same political standing. So now whoever's the officer, or whoever's the chief executive officer, like we'll make it personal. If your person or your ambassador is an international organization wherein it takes part in multiple different states. Crawford Tommy, he's a member of the state of Minnesota. If I'm in Wisconsin and he's documented there, he's a part of that organization, is a member of the state of Wisconsin. If he's in the United States, he's a member or a part of the United States. If he's in China and he's documented on the paper, then I'll say that I'm the chief executive officer of Crawford Tommy, which is an international organization. And then it says, or any person who has previously served in such capacity, and any member of his family while in the United States. Now, here's the thing. It says a foreign official, and when they're saying he's a foreign official, if he's from a state, while he's in the United States. Okay, that's who a foreign official is. And the reason why I'm showing you two separate sides here. In Section 8, 3A, they're talking about on the private side, because he's above the state on the private side. The entity that's above the state is the ambassadors. But now then they say, and B, any person of a foreign nationality. So now let's say, since I was born in Ohio, my person was born in the state of Ohio. So was Tommy Crawford, is he of a foreign nationality to the United States because these are the United States laws? Yes. The state of Ohio has documentation indicating that Tommy Crawford was born in a foreign in the state of Ohio. A person of a foreign nationality who was duly notified to the United States as an officer or employee of a foreign government or international organization, and who is in the United States on official business. Now, now in this situation, they're putting a catch or a clause there. Do you see that clause that they put there? Do you see that?
And who is in the United States on official business?
Yes. See, he's not a foreign official if he's not there on official business.
That's why it's on that paperwork, isn't it?
Most definitely. Because guess what he said? Look, I'm here on official business. I'm here to resolve this matter and get this property released. When they put that clause there, guess what? That's why I'm putting. Oh shit! I'm going to be here on official business.
Wow.
That's a catch in the clause. Because the only thing when Crawford Tommy Parrish, or when I'm going to say Lance Johnson, when Lance Johnson comes in here, no, Johnson Lance, he's the governmental official in the state of Ohio, and he's dealing with somebody in the United States, and he's talking about this exemption. This exemption identifies the protections, privileges, and immunities guaranteed by the Constitution, by statutory law, Universal Declaration of Independence, the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, and the Declaration of Independence. All of these are applying when you simply apply that exemption, and you're saying here, hey, I'm here on official business. This person is in here on official business to rectify this situation here. Apply that exemption. So, and because it could have easily said any person of a foreign nationality who is duly is notified to the United States as an officer or agent of a foreign government or international organization, and any member of his family who's present in the United States in the connection with the presence of such officer or employee. Now, understand the whole concept of this person being an officer or an employee. We employ the use of our person to do our bidding. Tommy Crawford is a commercial agent. When I go to a bank and they say, "What name would you like it in, sir?" and I say, Tommy Crawford. So what are they doing right now? We're going to employ the use of Tommy Crawford to hold my interests. And then he becomes an officer of the trust established with Bank of America. But this person in this capacity, in this public capacity as a counsel, he does not have the exemption because he's not doing official business in the diplomatic arena. until a private entity comes in here and says he's on her official business, and he grants him his what? Privilege, his immunity, his exemption, his protection. See, in this section, they're talking about a foreign official, because when you realize if you go into a federal courtroom, wait a second, now you entered into the United States. And now when you go into that federal insular or that needful building of the United States, now you're a foreign official, because I'm not from the United States. I'm an American. I'm duly registered in the state of Minnesota and the state of Ohio, 2 foreign jurisdictions. So therefore, guess what I'm saying? I'm going to say I'm coming through here and I'm going to apply my exemption through my person, through Crawford Tommy Parrish, who is a foreign official, and the state recognizes him because it's something foreign to the United States. Do you see how that worked? And this is 3A. I mean, in 3A and 3B, on the private side is A, on the public side is B. So now we're going to go to an internationally protected person. We're going to go to an internationally protected person. Now, that's indicating that if we're doing business in the United States, but let's say that I'm not in the United States. If I go to Wisconsin, an internationally protected person means, first, if it's on the private side, guess what he is? He's the chief of state. No matter where he goes, he's still an internationally protected person if he's the chief of state. You remember what a chief of state is? If I'm in Wisconsin, but in Minnesota, guess what I am? I'm the most important part of my state. And then if I go anywhere else, I'm still the political equivalent. The government is the state. But guess what we the people are? We're the heads of state. And we use our person on the private side as a foreign minister whenever such person is in a country other than his own, and members of his family accompanying him. So when you realize this concept, okay, so now when you have to remember that you have to use your person on the private side to exercise this privilege, because they're not attacking that person. They're going to attack the person that's on that identification, which is a citizen of a state, which is a council who's designed to take taxation. And you have the ability to grant the privilege, the exemption, and immunity, the diplomatic immunity. So now, when we realize, so internationally protected, whether I'm in the United States or not, my person becomes an internationally protected person, and it follows the same principles as in A of 3. It follows the same guidelines, but in 3, they're talking about if foreign to the United States. But in A, it's irrelevant where you're at on the private side. So then you go to B, which is in parallel with B on B. I mean 3B. It's parallel, but now you remember. Okay, that's if you're in the United States, but now we're talking about anywhere. So an internationally protected person means any other representative, officer, or employee or agent of the United States government. Now, watch this. Now you remember, and I made a point, and I tried to make it clear. You see how they use lowercase g's when they talk about a foreign government? They talk about a foreign government, and number 1, they talk about a foreign government. They keep on using lowercase g's. Do you guys see that?
Yes.
Because the foreign government is in fact the state. The foreign government is the state. And going back to the beginning of what I said, dealing with the use of this G, what does the capital G represent? The Republican form of government. The Republican form of government. What is the Republican form of government? It's a system of government in which the people hold the sovereign power. So in these situations, they talk about the United States. Up above here, they talk about the United States. They talk about a foreign government, but they don't say the United States government up above. They just talk about the United States. Then they talk about the foreign government with the lowercase g. But now when we understand that if I'm one of the people, and I'm in the United States, if I'm one of the people in the United States and the United States has to protect the republic in the United States, guess what it is? It's the United States government, the republic that's in the United States. So now what are they talking about? They're going to talk about any other representative, officer, or agent. Any other representative, officer, employee, or agent of the republic in the United States. So now when we start realizing, wait, we have a person here, and guess what he's going to be? He's going to represent me. He's going to be my employee. He's going to be my agent in a commercial capacity. Even if I'm in the United States and I'm part of the government in the United States, meaning the republic, then guess what I have a duty to do? I have a duty to protect my person, which is a representative of me. He's my officer. He's my employee. He's my agent. And the United States government, if I'm in the United States, I'm a part of the government in the United States. Then it says, because he's my representative, my officer, my employee, my agent, and he's an agent of a foreign government, which is a state government, or international organization, which on the private side, he's an international organization. Now watch what they say here. It says an international organization who at the time and place concerned is entitled pursuant to international law to special protections against attack against his what? Person, freedom, or dignity. Do you guys ever remember where we read something about protection against attack against his person, freedom, or dignity? Do you guys remember reading that?
I sure do. I can't remember where that came from. That was
Guess what?
2 hours ago.
Well, guess what?
Ta-da.
All human beings are free, equal in dignity and rights.
Article 1.
They're endowed with, it goes all the way to 3. Read Article 3. Everyone has the right to life, liberty, and the security of person. Then read number 2, is entitled to all of the rights and freedoms set forth in this declaration without the distinction of any kind, such as race, and they go on here. And so the human beings under international law have the equal protection for the dignity and rights and the security of person, life, liberty, and security of person. See, and then we use so what we use is we use our person on the private side who at the time and place concerned is entitled pursuant to the Universal Declaration of Rights, Declaration of Human Rights, to special protection against attack upon his person, freedom, or dignity, and any member of his family when forming a part of his household. So when understanding the game that we're playing here, we have to understand that we are creating trust on the public side and the private side. The public side is subject to the public side. We as a player in this game, we have to understand our public entity, he's subject to scrutiny until when we come in privately and we exempt the liability. We provide a treaty by the exemption. This is an open matter that we have to discuss to the public, because do we want criminals running around destroying everything? Being honest.
No, you can't have that.
So guess what? So guess what we do? We create a situation where we create a system with all of these ignorant people running around here, because we know they're ignorant. They don't understand this. And I try to explain. My older brother hates Donald Trump, but he'll say he doesn't. But no, in all actuality, he hates him because what Donald Trump is, he's a flamboyant, arrogant. Flamboyant, arrogant. Flamboyant. He's arrogant. I can say a bunch of different words about him, but I think they're high qualities because he's actually identifying that he's audacious. He's willing to go there. And despite the fact that people don't like him, some people, the majority of the state dislikes him to the point they actually went out and voted against him. He's proven a point that he's an American, and what he's doing is he's pushing the law to the extent that it can be done. If